Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail.
Well, everybody, look, this is a great show. Jackie Lapin is joining me here today. I have known Jackie for as long as I can remember, even very crust-busting days going back. And I want to tell you a little bit about the show. This is the Historic Traveler. So if you're me, like with the quadruple Sagittarian thing, you're vicariously living your life through Jackie. That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing. Because think about it. What if you could have an experience and at the same time was this incredible history lover? What if there was a way for you to have an experience that brings together what's deep in your soul, what you've known maybe for past lives, and then go to a destination, whether it's something remote or something like New York, where you discover parts of yourself in your inner journey. But what if you didn't have to do it alone? What if there was somebody like Jackie to guide you? That's what today's show is about. I've known Jackie for a long time. We're going to talk about how this was born. And more importantly, what do you do when you're living the life you want, Jackie? Right on.
You met Pat.
I've known you. We've known each other for quite some time. And I was talking to somebody the other day and I said, I have got to have a separate call for Jackie. I have to see how Jackie did it. How did you go from I've known you, your life's work, but this is the Historic Traveler. This is in your soul. What is it that happened that got you here that we're talking about the Historic Traveler?
So two things transpired. One, I had a business that was sucking the life out of me. I actually had two. I consistently have two businesses. One I love, which is serving authors, leaders, and experts, doing podcast radio tours for them.
Yes.
The other one was just killing me. And I knew that I couldn't go on that way. The other thing that happened is I hit 70. And I realized that there was less time ahead of me than there was behind me. And if I didn't start really fulfilling the things that I had on my bucket list, I may not be healthy enough to do that in a few years. So I decided to go in the summer of 2023 to see all of my bucket list cities. Now, I'm a photographer, and we'll talk more about all of that.
Right.
And so I hit 9 markets in 9 weeks, major markets. And it was an incredible experience. I was all over Europe. And really filling my heart on a life-changing trip. And when I got back, I realized that I no longer wanted to do the things that didn't serve me, and I was only going to do the things that did serve me and that I loved. And so I had always loved historic novels, history, travel, and this all really came together when a girlfriend of mine did an oracle reading with me. And at the end of the reading, she said, oh my God, I know what you're going to be doing. You're going to be doing a blog. And it was if the heavens opened up. The universe was just waiting for the time to deliver me this vision. And I clearly saw it in just 30 seconds. It all came together. Now, we've gone way beyond a blog. I mean, we're an online destination for people who love history, travel, and historic novels. But for me, it was the starting place. And it has evolved from there. And then it's become my great labor. And this is basically my last business. I am not doing another one. This is
my God.
I'm pouring my heart and soul into it because I adore it. I just love sharing this content with people. And sharing with them what I know about the world, especially from a historic perspective, sharing my photos from all over the world. I've been to 500
Oh
localities.
my gosh,
And I'm
Jackie.
not done yet. I am not done. I literally digitized 35,000 images to begin sharing them on the site.
Yeah.
And, and the other way you can see, we see, you'll see 3 posts a week, but we also have a magazine, and the 3rd issue of the magazine just came out. So there are numerous ways, and that's just the basic part. We have a membership program, and we'll talk more about that. But I'm going to tell you up front, this is not a sales pitch. The membership is free, is completely free. But if you love history, if you love travel, if you love historic novels, man, we are your hub.
And let's get them to the website, first of all, because we need to keep mentioning this. Give them the site they could go to, because once they get there, they're going to see exactly what we're talking about. They're going to see images, but they're going to see information. They're going to see how they can participate. And they can also look at the magazine. I mean, this is like the coolest thing, right? So what's the best place? The historictraveler.com, is that the best
And you
way?
have to put the THE on the front,
I
the
know.
historic traveler. And by the way, if you're overseas, it's the American spelling, 1L, because the second L will take you somewhere else.
Okay. Well, but this is all really important. Look, I love what we're talking about today because, we don't have enough time in this show, but people know you and I talk. And when I said to my team, yes, we're launching October 31st. You're going to hear more about that, but it's not just launch. It's not just technology, because it hit me that there's something that I'm not doing that I want to do. And there's another way to get out there and do it. And I think it was after talking to you that I got inspired to take down all of the reasons why I couldn't do it. Tell me what that process was like for you and how this came together. That's what I want to know, how it came together. Because now what you have, 35,000 photos, all of the above, you put it together in a beautiful, beautiful landing opportunity for people.
So I have to say that I am blessed by the people that have worked with me in my previous business. One is a digital partner that has built all of my websites. So when it comes to me and I say, Ken, I want to do this, it's done, and it's done right. And we find the solutions to the problems that we can't figure out initially. He'll find a way to make it happen. I have 2 gals in the Philippines that are absolutely amazing, that have been on my team for many years, and now they work full time for me. One is the designer who does the magazine and who does all the social media. And by the way, we're on all the social media platforms with the exception of X. And so you can find us all over the place. And then the other one who helps me with the posts and the research for the directories that I'm going to tell you about. So essentially, here's what we created. The homepage will give you the following. The most recent posts, and every post is thus. It's going to give you we're going to pick a location. We're going to give you a little the history of it. Then we're going to tell you what you should see from a historic standpoint. Then I'm going to give you beautiful pictures of what it looks like and what you should be seeing. And lastly, I'm going to give you book recommendations of what to read to make you feel as if you experienced it yourself, those historic periods. And we're going to give you non-fiction books, and we're going to give you nonfiction books. Every post is the way, every magazine article. So you have the various different posts. You can, by the way, search for the kinds of posts that you want based on where you want to be going. If you're doing research, then you have the magazine, which is an 80-page quarterly digital magazine.
I saw that.
The first half of the magazine is destinations, and the second half of the magazine is media. So it's books, TV, movies, all about the same topics we're talking about. Now, here's the cool thing. There is a great interview on each half. One is usually somebody who's associated with, history, preservation, something like that. The other half of the other one is going to be a top historic novelist around the world.
Wow.
And I'm proud to say that Fiona Davis, the author of Lions of New York, which was a Good Morning America pick, and her most recent book, Stolen Crown. She writes novels that are set in New York City historic landmarks.
I'm telling you.
And then the other one was Tony Riches, who's one of the top Elizabethan and Tudor authors around. So we're always, we fill the magazine with all kinds of information, which we can go over more of detail if we want. Then you're going to see a recommended book, book of the month. And then if you want, join our newsletter. We have a twice a month newsletter that'll tell you what's going on in the wider world of history, what findings, opportunities you can participate in. I'll tell you what's going on with us. The new magazine is out. We've just launched some exciting things. And then what posts you might have missed. And then we'll also introduce you to historic novelists and as we start traveling and I start taking people on trips, we'll start announcing them in the newsletter. But don't just join the newsletter. Join the membership because it gets you more.
Yeah. Jackie, here's the thing I love. I want to be very clear to people when you all go to the website, and I want to just say this. The words are not describing this because with Jackie, you put on your home pages, people can actually flip through the magazine and see. They can see what you have included. But I knew this about you. So I'm just saying, what you've included in there is so comprehensive, so beautiful in the world now where people are so afraid to use images in material. And it's exciting. It's exciting to look at and read. And you're right about having a team. You're only as good as the people around you. This leads me to a question for you, right? Here we are. This is what you've done. You're moving forward with it. But I know you a little bit. You got a vision.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about the next phase? I don't know what to call it. Phase 2, where you're actually now doing events, right?
Well,
talk about that part of this.
Let's finish talking about what we still already have.
Okay.
And then I'll tell you where we're going.
Sounds good.
So I was just giving you the homepage.
I know.
When you become a member, you get a directory of historic novels, mysteries, and history books by locality. Read before you go. You can pick where you want to head. You also have a directory of historic TV dramas and where you can see them on broadcast and streaming. We're going to give you a directory of historic hotels all across the world. We give you a directory of travel insight guides, the ones that actually are best for history lovers. We give you a directory of films and which ones on the top 200 by era. We're giving you a directory. What's next is going to be a directory of historic museums all over the world. And after that, it's going to be historic restaurants. So you can see where we're going with this. We also, when you become a member, you get access to a travel concierge that'll book you at no cost. And we have a community. So starting after the first of the year, we're going to have our book club kickoff. We're going to have a monthly conclave with all of the community that can come and chit chat. And I'll have guests there and an opportunity to share information, all of that. Plus a Facebook-like community where you can come in and post and a forum to, connect with each other. Then I've added first of all, my 100 favorite historic novels, but more importantly, we've got a hot historic 25 that comes up every month of what you should be buying that's new out there and what's Exciting. And we'll have a holiday buyer's guide in the 4th edition of the magazine in the fall. Wow. And so all of that's what's there now. So the next phase is starting to take people out on trips. And I'm going to be looking for partners. Now, I'm also in the, one of the reasons we make it free to everybody is that we're in the hunt for sponsors and destinations and organizations that want to reach our audience. And that includes publishers that are launching historic novels. So it could be a destination, it could be a travel service, whatever it is. We've already got a travel affiliates already up on the site. So if you want to go book a Viator tour, you can do that through us after you've seen the location that we tell you about, here's the tour to go take it. So, yes, that's the big picture. We want to be the hub of everything where travel, history, and
Yeah.
historic novels come together.
I love this, but here's what I want to say to the audience. I watched this come out of the birth canal. I've never seen something so comprehensive be so well done in such a short period of time. And see, one of the things I say, and I want you to talk to it because I know you this is true. When you have an idea like this, it doesn't come without challenges, it doesn't come without things you have to learn. But what does happen to it, it happens. And it happens because of all the reasons you've said. Part of this journey had to change you, Jackie. I want to know how bringing this forward, the excitement about the future, what has it done for you, Jackie Lapin?
It unchained me from the misery of having to work on something that wasn't in my heart. I've spent so many years that, half of what I do, I love, but the other half doesn't serve me. It's just that, it was buying me a job.
Yeah,
And I'm going to be 74 in December. And
we're December babies. See,
yes,
that's
ma'am,
it.
we are Sag girls. And so at this point in my life, it's allowing me to do what brings me joy every day. I love sitting down and writing a post and then picking the photos and producing something that I'm proud of and that I love to tell people about. I love going to the Historic Novel Society of North America and meeting all these incredible authors. I love hanging out with people who love what I do, and share the enthusiasm, the passion for books or movies or for travel. And so for me, it's giving me the freedom to enjoy my life.
Yeah,
Now, I agree. Have always been a workaholic, but here's what the good news is: we're built. And so from now on, my goal is to spend 2 months a year, 6 months apart, doing all the posts in the magazine articles for the rest of the year. And then spending 10 months traveling, photographing, seeing places, doing partner visitations with organizations that want me to come and cover their locale, those kinds of things. So my life is going to be much more free going forward
yeah,
now that this is built. And I'm changing my life. I'm selling my house, moving into a senior living community so I can just close the door and
yeah,
go
yeah.
and not have to worry.
This is a 9 year, and this is an energy. The reason I'm asking you is this energy is up for both you and me, and I'm not quite doing all of that, but I see a future kind of like yours. Here's what I want to ask you though: all these places you've gone, all the places you're going to go. I want to know at least one or two that you got to that were so far beyond anything that you imagined. Do you have like the top of the Jackie Lapin list?
Well, there's three places that I love. One is Bruges, Belgium. That's like a little mini Amsterdam with
Wow.
swans in the canals.
Mm,
Another one was Prague. I just adored Prague.
yeah.
It's got the alchemical background in history, which is the cover story in this magazine. We've got a fall issue of the magazine that's our spirited edition. It's all about ghosts, places with ghosts and things like that, witches. And so, Prague is just an amazing place. And then certainly I loved Dubrovnik. I didn't know what to expect when I got to Dubrovnik and walking into the old city in Dubrovnik, it's where they filmed Game of Thrones. It was astonishing experience, really quite extraordinary. But there's so many. I mean, there's small towns in
Yeah.
France that I adore. And I mean, the problem with me, it's like asking, who's your favorite child? I love travel, period. And there's always something interesting to see.
All right, next question. What's the most spiritual place you ever put your feet in?
Oh, that's a good one.
I know, right?
Um, One of the more interesting places was a place called Rocamadour in France, and it's on the Mary Magdalene Trail.
Wow. Ooh.
And it's a church that is built out of rock on a sheer cliff. And it's really an extraordinary experience to be there. And you know that this is a place of deep spirituality. And one of the next on my list is going to be Egypt. And I can't
Yeah.
wait to go there and,
Mm.
absorb that kind of spiritual energy.
Right. I mean, it's interesting. I think you and I have talked about Egypt several times. And, I'm a kid from New York, so why Egypt? Or, I mean, I got a giant poster of Ra sitting over there. But there's an energy that shows up from this. Now, what are you most looking forward? What site are you most looking forward to plan and go in the next year?
Well, Egypt is first on the list, but
Gotcha.
after that, Turkey. I really want to go to Istanbul and then to a lot of the ruins throughout Turkey.
Mm,
But I'm going to wait until the Hagia Sophia is out of scaffolding, which
yeah.
I don't. That's not good for my pictures, and so that may be a couple of years before I can do that one.
Yeah. So, I want to kind of loop this back around because this is more than just a thing or a brand. This is a living, breathing opportunity for people. There's so many dimensions to what you've created, which you've gone through beautifully. And what I want to say to you is that you've created an experience movement for people. And what I mean by that is it's not just travel. This is really something about having people have the history embedded, put feet on the ground, take the energy in, and yet have your team. People don't get it when they do things like this alone. So, talk about the added dimension that you bring into play, helping people have this experience.
Well, I think travel in itself is a spiritual experience. It really enlivens you. It keeps you present. It opens up your world. It enables you to connect with other people. And for me, the first time I ever traveled internationally was life changing because for the first time in my life, I did things spontaneously and was confirmed in my good decision making. I grew in confidence knowing I can do this, I can experience this. So, but one of the things, Pat, that I really want to tell people is I've got a couple tools for you. So, one of the things is, by the way, there's a tour on the site. So, if you want to know more about it, you can go and take that tour. But I have a couple of guides, which I'd love people to experience. If you're getting ready to travel, you can take advantage of the international guide, 20 international cities where you can immerse yourself in history and the books that'll make you feel as if you lived it. And you go to thehistorictraveler.com/guide. But if you want to stay domestically in the United States and Canada, then there's another guide for that. And that is thehistorictraveler.com/guide NA, as in North America. And there's 18 of those markets. So this will give you a quick overview of what's out there to experience.
Mm. Part of this, if people were to look at what you've done, and I want to make sure people go to the website, they wouldn't understand the depth and the breadth of your life's journey that went into this. And I want to just have a mention about that and have you talk about it. You and I show up, maybe we're starting new things, but there's an essence of our soul that brings us to this place. Let's take a minute. If you could talk about what that essence of your soul is and how it guides you today, because we don't often take time to really have a moment of that. And it's hard to explain to people why that is so important in
So,
how they make decisions in their lives.
so for me, I was always one to be listening to my inner guidance. I mean, I was 11 years old and decided I was going to be a sports writer. There were no women sports writer. And as you know, I was at the Detroit Free Press at 20, Associated Press at 21, and the front pages of the LA Times, and then at the Washington Post on the co-hosting Dodger Dugout. Went on to have one of the two largest sports special events cable TV PR agencies in America. Then moved on to doing two books in personal growth. One was the best spiritual book of the year
Yeah.
at the New Age Trade Show. That was Practical Conscious Creation. And then And lastly, when I did that, I realized that the people that were making the world a better place was who I wanted to work with. And I rebranded my company Conscious Media Relations and started doing that. The theme that's carried through all of this is that I've been listening to my inner guidance. I am following God's breadcrumbs. As God opens opportunities for me, I don't sit there and go waffle. I say, okay, this is what you want me to be doing. I'm moving. One of the reasons I am moving from leaving my house of 32 years to move to Reno and going to a senior living community is because I got a very strong intuitive message that says, your time there is up. You cannot be sitting around worried about whether your house is going to burn down on fire while you're out traveling. So, I hear the messages, I follow those messages. I have a great connection with the divine that protects me and guides me, and I just go where it says.
Jackie, first let me say thank you for coming here today and speaking with me. And I want to just honor your complete journey. And what I mean by that is I've known you a long time. I've watched what you've created. Pioneer in conscious media is not even a good phrase for it, because there are things that you've done, things that I'm doing that there are no words for. And I wanted to thank you and honor you, because this is a next level and you've tapped into the energy of what people really want to experience. They want to feel this in their cells. So I want to thank you. One last question. What's your personal message? What would you like to leave us with today?
Be courageous. Be courageous. Don't hesitate when you get a calling, like I got a calling to do this. Live your life fully rather than camped down, contracted, because that's what you think you should be doing. You're stuck in a place. Have the courage to step out and do what you're called to do.
Jackie Lapin, one more time for the website, Jackie, and how they can become a member.
TheHistoricTraveler.com. Upper right-hand corner says join as a member. So go there, join us. We've got so much more for you. And I'd love to connect with you if you want to, if you want to become a part of our world.
And for those of you out there, during the show, I signed up for the newsletter, I signed up for the membership. And I just want to say that because that's how easy it is. That's what Jackie Lapin has always done. She's made that pathway to consciousness easy to walk. And you can get to walk with her. Jackie, thank you so much for everything.
Pat, thank you. I love being with the woman who really pioneered this industry.
Thank you so much. We're not done, folks. No, don't let us fool you. We ain't done yet. And stay tuned, more to come, especially for us, our upcoming summit we're planning for the next year in January. We'll see you next time.